Well, I've been watching YouTube, MSNBC, Fox, and TikTok, trying to get a view on what's happening in this very complicated little world we're in. Abbott is playing games with the federal government, which can be dangerous. There is also a large movement of militias towards the state of Texas. Now, these are the kind of people you think they are. They're able to leave what they don't have, which I would assume is a job, to go kill people who are brown. There are Russians, there are Belarusians, there are Ukrainians at the border too. They're not worried about them because they're white. They're worried about the brown people. And even though the Supreme Court sided with the federal government, the fact that Donald Trump was able to put three judges on the Supreme Court really draws into question whether or not they're going to really fight for the Constitution. Because as we see, they overturned Roe, which got rid of privacy. Donald Trump was able to effectively push the goals of Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, things they had since 1979. He did the biggest step. He got the judges on the Supreme Court. And that was with help of Mitch McConnell in 2016 and in 2020. And he dramatically changed the flavor of the court. All three of the judges said that Roe v. Wade was sacrosanct. And all three of the judges voted against Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs decision. Donald Trump has a myriad of problems. He's about to lose to E. Jean Carroll. New York State's probably going to take about $340 million for him. If the jury for E. Jean Carroll does what I think they will do, it'd be somewhere between $50 and $100 million. That's a $400 million hole in Donald Trump. Now, he's going to be able to grip that back from MAGA, because he's been doing that effectively this entire time, and that's been paying his court costs. But he's been running and running and running. And now, what's going to happen when he goes in front of the Supreme Court? Because if the Supreme Court says that he has ultimate immunity, at that point, does Joe Biden use that to get rid of MAGA and Trump? That's the answer. I don't know how the Supreme Court would say that you have ultimate immunity, because Gerald Ford, the first thing he did was pardon Richard Nixon for his crimes, which kind of proves the point that as a president, you can commit crimes. Now, I don't know what the Supreme Court is going to do, and that's frightening. They sided with the conservatives on the whole case out in Colorado, which was hypothetical, and the Supreme Court's not supposed to do that. So I'm really concerned. And at the same time, you have Donald Trump controlling the GOP and playing games with the border to keep that as a wedge issue for him in November. There's money there to solve the problem. Biden's working with Mexico to try and solve the problem, since Trump spent 4 years ostracizing and saying very bad things about the people to our south. The people, by the way, that share a good portion of Western America, from Texas all the way up to Idaho, all the way west to Washington, was all Mexico before the Mexican-American War. That's 1848, when we landed in Mexico City and took it and, got the borders we wanted. And then we purchased the Gadsden Purchase in the 1850s to make sure we could have the Transcontinental Railroad. That entire region is filled with people with Mexican heritage. There's a reason why it's Los Angeles, the city of angels, and it's Spanish, not English. That's our heritage. And I don't know how Donald Trump is going to encourage more voters for MAGA. He said already that anyone who supports Nikki Haley is not welcome, as has Marjorie Taylor Greene. So how are they going to grow the party? And at the same time, the people that are considered to be Generation Z, the children. Is it Gen Z? Yeah, Gen Z. The kids under 30, because I'm 53 and they could all be technically my child, they are 79 to 21 Democratic. That's 4 to 1 in the rough math. So how is the GOP going to build? Because they were equal in number to the largest portion of people supporting Donald Trump in 2020. Those people, more of the seniors have died than the people under 30. And there are more new voters under 30 every day who have lived in places like here in Florida. How many mass shootings in schools have happened? How many mass shootings have happened? We had more than 2 a day last year. And these are people that have grown up with active shooter drills or know someone that died in an active shooter drill or active shooting. There's gunplay everywhere, and we know who's responsible for that. So I'm kind of curious. What's going to happen with Abbott? What's going to happen with Donald Trump? What's going to happen with Nikki Haley? Is Nikki Haley going to be able to stay around and stay relevant enough if Trump can no longer run? What's the GOP going to do when he's found guilty? Because the numbers from Iowa and the numbers from New Hampshire both said between 40 and 60% would not support him if he had a felony. You can't win without 40 to 60% of the Republican Party. I'm just thinking about these things, and I'm wondering what you're thinking. It's Friday. It's almost 5 o'clock. I'll have a happy and safe weekend, and vote true and vote blue.